Alright, well, we're back with Ruby's Type-3 speedometer. You might remember a couple videos ago that the thing stopped working and it was making all kinds of awful kind of sounds, and then I replaced the cable because it was broken, and then, well, turns out the new cable got broken too by the speedometer because the speedometer drive got stuck. Now, when I pulled it out of the dashboard, this is how it came out. I kid you not. Although all the lights and everything on the dashboard are working, somebody had snipped off grounds for some reason. They must have done some kind of rewiring. Maybe they even replaced the gauge at some point. You know, I have reason to believe that this may not be the original speedometer in this car because Ruby's a 1968, and that says 1069. So somebody may have replaced this at one point anyway. Anyway, it does appear to still be the correct speedometer for that year. It's just not stamped correctly. So for the sticklers out there, they might actually say, well, that's the wrong speedometer. Well, it's the right speedometer. It just happens to have the wrong date on it. I have no idea, but this is the way I found it. When it goes back in, it's going to go without them because clearly they're not necessary with the way the car is set up right now. So anyway, I started to pull the face off of this, and I discovered once again that somebody else was in here because this face pulled off without any tooling. Yeah, see what I mean? It all came out. And then when I was inside of here, I also discovered that, come on now, that the needle was busted because when I pulled the lens out of here, this little white piece that's on that needle was rolling around on the bottom of here. So I glued that back on real quickly. At this point, the speedometer is still not working. It appears the drive is locked up, so something inside of there is not working properly. So we're going to disassemble it. From what I read online, looks like we start by taking out these screws. We already got the face off of it because, well, somebody diddled with that one. This is all previous owner BS. So let's dig in. Thank you, Biddy. So let's dig into this speedometer and see just exactly what we find inside of this thing. It's going to be fun. So like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to pluck that dingle bell so you get updates every time I upload a video. Check out DuckShit.net for all my different social media links. And we'll be back right after that intro. Take this speedometer face down. It might be a mistake because it might slam the needle when I pull these screws out, so I'm going to have to be very careful. Oh, Biddy, you're being obnoxious today again. I'm going to have to put a shoe in your ass. And it did exactly what I said it did because I was distracted by a stupid rooster. Did I bang it up? No, I didn't. We're good. Alright. There's our speedometer. These are a little bit different from the Type 1 style ones. Matter of fact, that's loose, and I don't think that should be. Anyway, I've got to go inside of it. From what I've seen online, there's a bunch of little twisty tabs. There's one there, there's one here, looks like there's one there, there's another right there. And what that allows this thing to do is the entire drive assembly should come off of the clock or dial assembly that you see up here. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to remove these little twisties. He's about to scream right next to me. You idiot. He jumped right up there, and of course now the camera won't turn. Right next to me, just to drive me nuts. Aren't you? Go ahead. Do your scream, and I'm going to go lock your ass up. Do it. Go ahead. You're getting your attention now. You're on my show. Everybody sees you. Yeah? Go ahead. Scream. Do it. Ah! Now you're not going to do it, of course. Now you're on a spotlight. Maybe I should do this to you, embarrass you every single time. You big dingle. You're a big dingle. You're a big stupid dingle, yep. Daddy loves you, but you sure are dumb. Yep. There it is. Alright, now go the hell away. Go away. Go. Alright. He was getting a little too rowdy, so I had to put him inside. What was all that crap? Broken plastic from something. Oh no. Anyway. Ooh. Speedometer light bulb stuff. Don't lose that. The drive was locked up on this. This here, you're probably asking, how did I know? I have a square tip bit for putting in, well, square tip deck screws. When I put it in the drive, I can't get it to budge. It just turned a little bit. Then it kind of stopped. Anyway, I don't want to force it. This is all loose too. I don't like the way any of this stuff fits, so we're going to go through this thing and take it apart Now the other one started. Unbelievable. I put his father inside because he was quiet. His father was going nuts. Now he's going nuts. You're a jerk. Be quiet. Anyway. Loosen these little twisties. I'm trying to not pull the needle off of the speedometer too, if at all possible. Because if you do that, you gotta start recalibrating things. Looks like I need more than just what I did here. Okay. Again, I've never been inside of these things before. This is all new to me. If I screw it up, well, it makes for a good video. A lot of people offered to fix them for me. I thank you guys. Really, I appreciate it. But I want to give it a try. And, well, learn something new, and maybe down the road I'll end up fixing another one. And because I have knowledge, that means I'm not dependent on anybody else. It's always nice to have a guy, if you know what I mean. Yeah, just call the guy. The guy will take care of that. Usually I'm the guy. This is not coming apart. Huh. I figured for sure that would have just pulled out. At least that's the way they made it look online, like it was really easy. Oh, it'll just pull right off. Yeah, just pull on it. It'll slide right off of there. I do see a screw there. Alright, well, I'm going to dingle with it. And we'll get it off of there. Somehow, some way. Even if I have to hit it with a hammer. As always, if I ever want to make a breakthrough in any project that I'm working on, all I have to do is shut the camera off for a second. Anyway, I started wiggling this, and then it started coming apart. And of course now, that I put the camera back on, now it's stuck again. Give this a shot in here and see if I can... There it goes. Hopefully this releases without... Yes! I didn't want to take that... any of the gears and all the... Yeah. I wanted to leave all that alone. All the drive and mechanicals and the dial. I don't want to mess with any of that. Because it's going to get to a point that it requires calibration, and I don't have the ability or the knowledge to handle the calibration. Now this looks like that's going to pull the drive out. It looks like I'm also going to have to pull out this gear here. I can't believe these stupid chickens today want to be so obnoxious. I got through the carburetor cleaning video the other day with minimal chicken noise. They were actually quite well behaved. Even Biddy was out here. I think he only doodle-doodled it like twice. There's the worm drive. Just for grins, let's see if that's what was actually sticking it. Oh yeah, that's what's sticking. Oh, it's turning though, but that takes a lot of force. Oh, now it's turning free. Interesting. Interesting. I pushed on it, and now it's spinning free. Anyway, we're gonna take that apart. We're gonna clean the inside of this out. We're gonna put some moly grease in there, which has graphite in it. So that way, if the grease should dry up again in the future, that should have a little graphite remaining to help keep it lubed. But anyway, yeah, it's spinning now. Spinning quite well, actually. All right, well, we're gonna go in there and clean it up. Looks like this screwdriver is too big for this little screw here, so I'm gonna go grab another tool. And hopefully this cover should come off, and then this whole drive should slide out. And then we should get the inside of that cleaned, and that'll probably clean it just fine. Alright, I simply put it on the bench grinder and just reprofiled it. It was a little twisted up and kind of mangled. Anyway, I should have a thinner, flatter tip on it now. It does, and look at that, it works just fine. Just fine for what we needed here. Okay. There it is. And this should, from my understanding, come right up and out of here. There shouldn't be any other clips or anything holding it in. Oh my, that was definitely sticky. There's the inside of the bore. Let's try to get some sun in there so you guys can see. It's crappy looking. It is a little wet because I shot a little pea blaster in there. That's probably what loosened it up. But this was wallowing itself out on the inside of the bore of this until eventually it seized itself up. Now, it doesn't look like it's scarred. I don't see any marring on the inside of this either. So I think I should be able to just clean it up, re-grease it, put it back together. Of course, I put it together backwards there on purpose. I just want to see if it was going to spin, but there's definitely a sticky spot in there, right there. Yeah, so it's definitely going to have to be cleaned through. Alright, I got to see what I have that's small enough to get in there. I might have some firearms cleaning, barrel cleaning for like a 22. I should be able to go down inside of there with that. A little 22 brush, or 223 if you will. Anyway, this, however, this is good. I don't see anything here that really needs to clean this thing up. It really doesn't need to be brushed up that much. Just give it a good one of these. And then wipe it down with a rag. I don't think it needs any emery or anything. There's no burrs on it. There's no... Yeah, it's not marked up. This is in good shape, actually. Alright, clean it. Clean it. There we go. Alright. This is a magnet, if I'm not mistaken. This magnet spins around inside the drum that's on this, and this is what affects your speedometer and makes the needle move. So, anyway. And the gear that comes off of it is what drives the odometer. Magnet! Oh, I guess it uses some kind of induction. Never really, yeah, it's definitely a magnet. Never really did too much research on how they function. Interesting little piece, I mean... There's nothing mechanically connected from this to the needle. It's all magnetic. Alright, well, let's clean out this bore. I'll be right back. Little firearms barrel brush there. Fits through there perfectly, just like I thought. Look at all the crap that's coming out of it. The grease that was in there was definitely dried. Alright. Do a little bit of this. Go through it again. What are you doing? Chickens are tearing stuff up behind me here. That's getting smoother and smoother. Oh wow, now it's all shiny on the inside. Good. Good. For those of you that don't have a brush for a 22 or a 223 barrel, visit your local dealer and pick one up. Yeah, it's all shiny down the inside now. Fantastic. Thought about throwing this in the ultrasonic parts cleaner. I suppose it wouldn't hurt. But I also think it's probably just a little excessive. Probably don't need all that. But yeah, it's all shiny down the inside now. So that should be good to go. Alright. Here's our drive, just for grins. Push the drive back in. Oh wow, look at that. It went right in with no effort. It is a little sticky. It's a little bit, but of course it's got no lube on it right now. But I mean... The fact is, it's turning freely now. I mean, spinny. Look, it wouldn't do that at all before. And whatever that stickiness was, just completely went away. But there's that rattle that you just heard. Did it for just a second. Not that rattle. That. That was what the speedometer was doing. It was making exactly that sound. Alright, well with some lube I think it'll probably be okay. If not, there's a possibility this hole may be wallered out, and that means it's going to be time for a new gauge. This looks to be some kind of pot metal. So this is soft compared to this, which I'm sure is hardened steel. Alright, well, let's get some molly in there, and I think we'll be okay. Yeah, that's that awful sound. That's exactly what it was doing. All the lube dried out. Alright, here we go. Be right back. Hopefully this fix is going to be this easy. Alright. Oh my god, these damn roosters are so bad today. I have no idea why the other one was making all that noise now that his father's gone. Although I can hear his father going inside, and he's making a ton of noise inside the house. And I think as a result, his son can hear him, and they're going back and forth. Alright, here we go. This is Molly grease. I said it before, Molly has some graphite in it, which means that when the grease disappears, that the graphite will stay behind and remain as a lube. This is probably the perfect kind of location to use this kind of stuff. Just getting the excess off the magnet here as it smeared a little bit. Alright. That feels good. That feels real good. Alright. I guess we can start putting the sucker back together now. We have to put this gear back in. Thank you very much, asshole. And then we'll put the brass bushing back in. That's only held in by friction, huh? Interesting. And then the whole gauge should go back together. No, we missed something. We missed something. Damn it, Duckman, you're an idiot. See, there was a little piece that was supposed to go under this. I see it sitting here, so let's get it and do it right. It looks like it's a retaining clip of some sort. Right here, this goes in there like that. Then, this goes in here all together. I don't know which way it's oriented. I didn't pay attention to it. Something just don't look right. I don't know, I don't understand it. I'll pull this back out and try it the other way one more time. Just to make sure it's not me. Oh, then it went right in. Fantastic. Okay. These little twisty guys gotta get twisted. This is what's gonna retain the drive. Don't have to twist them much. Just enough to retain. There we go, ain't going anywhere. Yeah, that feels so much better than it did. Alright, winner. Put our piece back in here with the screw. And I put that drive gear back in right after this. Just don't want all this to come back apart, since I did realize that I was doing that minus a clip before. Again, my first time inside of these gauges. This is news to me. This is why I'm working over my carburetor tray. So in case I drop anything, it doesn't roll very far at all. Much better. Okay, that makes me happy. Oh yes. Ah yes, Duckman's very happy. Okay, one of these gears. You know what, I should clean that too. Hopefully it doesn't dissolve the nylon, because that's what it looks like. Brake parts cleaner probably shouldn't go on that kind of thing. That wasn't very smart, Mr. Duckman, sir. But you know what? It cleaned off all the gunk. I think it's going to be alright. I wouldn't soak it in it, though. Alright, there it is. Now, if I put in this, I can turn the drive, and you see this gear is now turning too. Quite smoothly, I might add. Feels really good. Nothing feels better than a good lube job. Okay. This is CV joint grease, by the way. Same stuff, Molly. It's got graphite in it. Shouldn't use it on wheel bearings, from what I understand, because the Molly could be like little speed bumps for the wheel bearings, and it might have trouble rolling over the little lumps of graphite. But in CV joints, it doesn't seem to matter, because that's not the way CV joints work. Okay. Got this. See if we can put this assembly back in here. This was tricky with those twisty tabs that they were not happy earlier. Looks like there's a pin here, or a hole rather, where the pin goes in. Clean the grease and stuff off of this one too. We're going to re-grease all this stuff. A little white lithium ought to do it. I have some in the garage. Also, what works good, because these are plastic gears, is silicone spray. If you don't have any silicone spray, silicone is usually what you would use to lubricate any kind of plastics that move against each other. Dad taught me that one. I had some toys when I was a little boy that had plastic moving parts you assembled, and boy, they were stiff. I forget what kind of building block set it was, but the moving parts in there, they would just grind and drag, or they would push in and click as they would, you know, just unstick between the metal. Anyway, he shot everything with silicone, and then when I went to play with my brothers, they had their own kits. Mine was so much faster and stronger than theirs because it wasn't fighting against all that friction. So silicone spray. Dad always had it around. Let's see. I'm going to guess this goes on, looks like this way, because that's where that shaft's got to lock into. I do not have hands made for this. No, no, no. My hands are meant for lifting heavy objects and hammering things like a sumo wrestler. Hands are not meant for things this delicate. This is the real reason why I didn't want to go inside of all this mech here. This is, just to me smells bad news. Yeah, I think it's on there okay. I think we're good. I think I can bend those twisty things, and I think we're good. Make sure everything lines up. Looks like it's not lining up. I see why. There's a little hole right here, and a little dick, and that dick's got to go in the hole. And if it's slightly aligned wrong, then it's not going to do that. Oh, there it goes, see? Looks like there's another one over here also. That's our alignment. Good, now I should be able to twist it. Well, I was hoping. Ah, it's doing one of those things. Pop in one side, pop out the other. That's just the way it friggin' goes, right? Alright, well, let's just twist this thing on this side, since this side is in. That side's in. Go over to the other side. And repeat. Be careful with that needle. If I mangle that thing up, I'll screw up the speedometer. Make sure this gear is in place, which it's not currently. Alright, we're assembled. Needle's on 0 and not busted. Yeah, here we go. Gotta clean off the face a little bit. I got a little greasy fingerprints on it. I'm not sure which way it's supposed to turn. I think it's going to be because the wheel turns this way, and the cable comes up and out of the wheel, so I think it's going to turn the same direction. Anyway, that should be making the needle move, and I don't see the needle moving. This gear popped out, which isn't helping things. Anyway, I'm going to look at it more closely, but I don't think I've done anything wrong, except for this gear falling out here, but that's just a nuisance problem. I can fix that. Alright, well, I'm going to take a break from this because this is going to give me a headache. I hate working with this kind of stuff, just too small. One of the reasons why I got out of the delicate electronics business, just it was too much. It's just way too much. As my hands get bigger and bigger as I got older, it just became a problem. And as they got thicker and thicker calluses from working on car stuff, I can't feel the small components when I pick them up anymore. It's just, there's no sensation. And it's not that my hands are damaged, it's just these calluses are like gloves. So if you ever tried wearing a heavy set of gloves and tying your shoes, that's kind of what I'm dealing with. The dexterity just isn't there because I can't feel what I'm doing. I don't have it. The sensation's not there. Alright, I popped that gear back in without tearing anything else apart by just simply slipping it underneath that little bracket that it goes in there. Just pliers, just gently lifted it and it clicked in. And it was actually bent too far up anyway, so I've since re-straightened it. I discovered the needle was binding also. I don't understand why it was binding, but I loosened the tabs on the thing. The face came off and it went back on and it's not binding anymore. So now we're locked down as one solid unit. I don't understand why it rattles like that. Maybe that's just the way it is. Could also be why it was so damn noisy. Anyway, I haven't lubed it yet, but let's give it a shot. And I think it turns to the right. No, now I see the odometer turning. The odometer's going the wrong way. Let's try it that way. There it goes. Look at that. 30 miles an hour. Oh, wow, look. Oh. All right, it's working. Good. Anyway, we'll lube up these gears with a little bit of white lithium, like we said. I don't want to put silicone because silicone will eventually dry up. White lithium will last a lot longer. And we can get this thing reassembled. Alright, let me go get some greaser. We'll get this thing finished up. Alright, there we are, all nice and greased up. Sure our mechanisms move like they're supposed to. Speedometer's going. Looks like I added a whole mile. Oh no, my odometer is not going to be correct anymore. On a state where antique vehicles' odometer readings don't matter anyway. Yeah, everything's doing what it's supposed to do. Fantastic. Okay, I'm good. I'm not going to get in here and clean any of the numbers or any of that stuff. I didn't get any grease on any of that, so it's still good. We'll just leave it alone. And as far as the face is concerned, it's got a few fingerprints on it. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a wipe down, not too much. It does have a lot of, it looks like stress cracks in it. Probably just from UV light. But anyway, this can go back together. So let's put it back in its case. Clunk. And just gonna jam some stuff together here real quickly so I can get the screws in the back of it. There it is. I'm glad this was a simple fix. There's really not that many moving parts inside of these things. I'm kind of impressed they were that simple. I didn't realize they worked by an induction magnet. I always thought it was like a centrifugal clutch or something in there that would work, and the spring would give so much resistance against the clutch drum, which I imagine would work, but it probably would be really noisy. A moving magnet or an inductor like it's done here is seems to make a lot more sense. Okay, I need to put this back together. You know what? That actually might be correct. This might go in next, and I believe that notch. There's a little notch in there. It was in the lower left. Like that. And our lens. And that notch lined up with the other notch. In fact, I heard it click as it fell in. How about that? Our face goes together. And this is the part somebody monkeyed with. Again, previous owner stuff. All these clips, which aren't really clips, it's just little bendable things. These are all kind of monkeyed with and all bent out of alignment. So somebody else had been inside the speedometer before. And maybe they fixed exactly the same thing, I don't know, but the way they left it in the condition they did, would not recommend. So I hope that whoever did it wasn't a professional that was billing money, because that certainly wasn't done right. Okay, see if we can get that face back on there. It went back on first try. How about that? I should be able to bend those tabs back down. Squirrels are making some weird noises today. Maybe that's the reason why the chickens are crazy. Yeah, here it is. One reassembled speedometer. Now I need to look at the cable because I think the cable's busted on it. Let's see if we get that fixed too, but just one more time. There we go. Alright, that makes me road legal again. Fantastic. I didn't think it was going to be that easy. So happy. I'm also kind of glad that this crap is out from behind the dashboard. It wasn't connected to anything at all. Alright, good. Alright, well, let's go reinstall them. Well, with the gauge pulled out, it's a whole lot easier to put the cable on and to plug the light bulb into it. So that's the way we're going to put it back together. While I was in here, though, I popped out this gauge and discovered the ground wires are missing from it, too. Now, that's just a clock. And on Type 3s, in my experience, and according to people I've spoken to, they never work. So this one's no different than the others. It does get power, I checked that. It does have a ground. In fact, I fixed the ground wire on it, which was cut for some reason. But I fixed that, put that back together. It still doesn't tick-tock, tick-tock. But now the light lights up in it, so I know for sure it's grounded. But that'll be a project for another day. But what we're going to do is going to put that speedometer back in, which I don't think I can do it with one hand. Maybe I can. But this goes right in there like that. And then, yeah, I did it with one hand. Unbelievable. thread that right on there, just like so. Alright. Make sure it's snug. There it is. And then we're going in. This is better this way because I don't have to get my normal sized hands inside that little tiny area, which made me pull out the fuse box the last time just so I can get up in there. Yeah, I know my wiring is a mess, but this is typical for an old classic Volkswagen. It's just the way they are. A lot of them came that way from the factory. But everything is just right here. The gauges are a little tricky to pop out though. They have these little spring clips on them. But I discovered that these gauges were not pressed into the dashboard all the way, which was kind of nice, because that made it a whole lot easier to pop them out. It was just a matter of me getting on the gauge and just grabbing it and pulling it, and it came right out. So when I pop this thing back in, I'll be extra careful that I don't shove it in all the way that it clicks in, because I'm going to pull it apart again, I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure. Anyway, a speedometer cable was broken. I just simply crimped it back on the other end. There's a little bullet-shaped end. It's down below on the wheel. I've since put that back together, so I'm going to use two hands, and I'm going to put this light bulb into this little holder over here, and then the whole gauge goes back in. All right, light bulb is in. There's our little springy clips. They line up horizontally, and the whole gauge should push right into place, just like that. And like I said, I don't want to push it in so far that it clicks in, just far enough that it's going to stay. And those grounding wires that were on it aren't connected, but I believe the body of the gauge was grounding against the actual tin dashboard that's behind it, because that's what those little spring clips click into. So it may not be a ground that Volkswagen intended, but it is an effective one. All right, we should have light. Yeah, it looks like we do. A little hard to see, but yeah, I can see it. If I shade it, I can actually see. So we do have lights working again, that's good. Okay, I guess it's just a matter of putting the speedometer drive back together down below. Then we'll take it for a ride and we'll see if we have a functioning speedometer. All right, look, we're pointing at 0. Well, technically it's 10, but we're sitting with the needle on the pin. Give this wheel a spin. Whoa, almost fell down. See if that's enough to get it. And here we are. Look at that. 13, 12. All right, I say that's effective. I guess it's time to go for a ride. All right, it's the moment of truth. I'm just barely rolling. Here we go. Yay! Needle's doing a little bit of this, but that's very likely due to the repaired cable, or maybe the cable got a little kink in it when I was pulling on it. As I said, if you get a little bend in that cable, and I said in the previous video that your needle will bounce. If it's a severe bend, it'll bounce severely. Just a little tiny kink, then you have a little bit of motion in it. I think that's what we're looking at there. That's not enough for me to be disturbed by it. So I'm just going to leave it be. Alright, make one more turn here. Quick drive around the block. Alright, I think we're good. I'm happy with that. So I guess it's going to wrap that one up. First time the Duckman has ever worked on the insides of a speedometer from a Volkswagen before. I've had motorcycle ones apart, but never a Volkswagen one. So I guess that's it for today. I hope that helps somebody. Maybe somebody out there has a stuck speedometer drive, or needs a little lube on the inside, or just curious how the thing comes apart. That's how it comes apart. So as always, guys, likey, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to pluck that dingleberry so you get updates every time I upload a video. Check out duckshit.net for all of my different social media links. And we'll be back before too long with another brand new video. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time. Well, one more thing. I did notice that the tail on the speedometer needle there, that piece that was broken off that I glued back on, I was looking at some old recent videos and it was off then. But I looked at some old photographs from when I first got the car and it was on. So yeah, it broke off sometime during the time that I had the car, but not because I took it apart. I was never inside of that thing before. So whoever the previous owner was that had it apart, I blamed somebody for something that they didn't do. And in actuality, I think it just broke by itself. Probably just plastic dried out. Anyway, before too long, I'm sure the needle will disintegrate. Well, anyway, that's it for now. See you next time.